Okay, welcome back to Procrastination Podcast. We talk about anime, life, and everything in between. My name's Matt,
I'm Robert.
Lonzo.
and we're back again after a longer than expected break, but we have lives. I'm sorry. So, life be life. In case you haven't watched the news lately, things is flooding. Life is life in, not in a good way. So y'all stay safe out here. That's all I can say. But yeah, I mean, with life being the way it is, we had to go back, man. We had to rewind it back to the good old days, and we had to start thinking about, man, the golden oldies, man, the '90s, though, that genuine era of creative mastery. They created this trio right here. The '90s created this right here. So, you can't complain about the '90s. And if you do, I don't know what kind of person you are. You ain't living life right. Because the '90s was where it's at. And if you ain't get a chance to live in the '90s, I'm sorry, man. That's just, take that up with the parents. That's all I can say. But early 2000s too, though, we were living life. But thanks to technology, you can relive a lot of these things that we experienced back then. Y'all know about the DVD players. Y'all know about Blockbuster. Y'all know nothing about Eckerd.
Oh Lord, that was my shit, man. Goddamn.
Y'all know nothing about all this stuff, man. Y'all barely even know about Redbox, man. Like, come on. So we're just, again, we're just reminiscing about the good old days, and we were thinking about it. We're like, man, there was really some great anime back then, and that's kind of what led us into this topic of talking about, the golden age of anime, at least the way we see it, of the '90s. So, yeah, I mean, but before we get into that, how's everybody doing? What's going on with everyone? Everything's been going a little crazy lately. Say that. How's everybody doing?
I've been doing good. I'm planning for another trip. I'm leaving in 9 days to date this video. So I'm going international trip again. We go again. And I'm setting up for that. So it is it's a lot better than last time because I know what I need and I know what I don't need. So that's last time I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm packing. Look, I need toilet paper. I need endless supply, give me the biggest bag they got. And I didn't need all that shit. So letting you know, don't need all that shit. I didn't need the laptop, that kind of thing. Like, there was I'm out the whole time. So why do I need that? Anyways, so that's what I'm doing. Prepping for the trip. Make sure I got my stuff. That's it.
About you, Lonzo?
And the last time we talked, my job was 1 second away from midnight. I'm talking 11:59 on us losing the contract, losing my job, losing the house, losing everything. Luckily, we went back to 11:58 right now, so I'm living good. So I'm feeling great.
2 minutes.
Got a job. We're going on a trip for 2 weeks this coming Wednesday to California. It's gonna be hot. I know it's gonna be hot. I gotta work outside. It's gonna be in a remote location. So if something happens to me, I may just die. And if I die, I die. But I'm also on this healthy kick, got some health news, and then I finally saw the light. Calorie deficit, no sugar, no carbs. And it actually works, people. It actually works. Diet and exercise. Who the fuck knew, man? God damn. Some crazy shit right there. But anyway, thank you to my doctors. Thank you to Matt for his help as well. So I'm living great right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm proud of him for it. I mean, that's hard. I mean, it's hard. He says that in jest, but people really be thinking it doesn't work, and I'm just like, you ain't doing it right. You ain't doing it right. But it's hard work. It's hard work. So props to Alonzo. Yeah, my sister actually trying to do the same thing. But yeah, go ahead.
I heard he turned you into sparkling water.
Oh yeah, sparkling water. That is the jam, man. That is the way to go. Dude, I looked at the nutrition information and I was like, my God, who created this? Whoever created this is a genius. We should put them up on a pedestal. My goodness.
Look at that. This is slippery slope, and you gonna be like this, and then you gonna be just like me. You get a soda stream in your house, you be bottling your own shit. like you're a crack addict.
Hey man, this time without sugar, man.
Yeah,
itching, you know what I'm saying?
Craving it.
Better than craving your foot getting cut off because of diabetes, man. Shoot, like forget that, dude. Not worth it. Hey, I'm gonna turn as many people as I can around, so I'm happy with it. But yeah, my sister's trying to do the same thing. She's trying to get her stuff together, her health stuff. Went to a festival over the week, free health checkups, and mine didn't go well. And I was like, you don't say. You mean the things that I told you to change years ago? Like, yeah. So, but yeah. So she's turning around. She's asking a bunch of questions and stuff like that. I was like, all right, cool. Let's get healthy. All the stuff I do, give her all my cheat snacks and stuff like that are still like healthy but tasty and all that sort of. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a new wind blowing these days for the health. Diet next time making a comeback. So I'm definitely happy with it. But I went back home, past weekend. So I'm definitely, and I had a pleasant surprise of him finally being anime, and I didn't do anything. So I just let him come into it on its own, and he requested a couple things. So of course, being that new age kid, he's into My Hero. So I was like, all right, cool, fine, sure. I got him like some My Hero manga.
Perfect starter.
Is it exactly safe starter? No Tokyo Ghoul. No Madoka Magica. None of that. So, but yeah, I was like, all right, let me give him some of this goated Naruto manga, life lessons in that first the first series, that first season. And I was like, man, I got me reminiscing too, man. I was like, man, like thinking back to when I really first watched Naruto, and it's crazy, like legit. Bro, what was that? Like middle school? Middle school. Naruto first came out, man. And I think even like in like early middle school into elementary school, something like that. And I was like, dang, man, like even Naruto makes it into that golden age of anime in those early 90s. And again, you just can't, early 90s, early 2000s, 1990s, early 2000s rather. And man, like, and it just was the golden age. It felt like, I started going down the list, and then we saw, and coincidentally, as the phone be doing sometimes, read my mind, and I saw a post talking just about that too, and I was like, it ain't just me. And so now I'm seeing it, and I'm like, dang, man, has me look. I was thinking about this in my head recently too, and I was like, man, anime really has like, it's grown a lot, but it hasn't developed the way I thought it would. And I think that was made us kind of want to go back and, like I said, just think about these golden age of anime that it used to be. And I know y'all had some strong feelings about this, which will be really excited about it. So if you want to kick us off, Alonzo, like let us know, man, how you feel about this great generation that's now past us.
So I will say, it was a good time, late 90s, early 2000s, especially in America, being an anime fan. You had the big four: Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z. You had shows like Yu Yu Hakusho. You had other shows like JoJo. You had you were just eating good, but it was like a specific palette. So I thought about that clip you sent about the golden age, and it got me thinking. Like, why do we consider the shows from that time period to be the golden age? I know there were some great shows. I know it was a really developmental time, really sort of like just peak stuff we saw, but it was kind of like curated. It was quality stuff that made it through from Japan over to the US. So I know anime's been around Japan's for years, really took off in Japan to like the 80s, and then didn't get to the US till like the very late 90s and the early 2000s. So I'm just like, well, I get that for US audiences, those shows were like the OG anime introductions, but semantically, I just have a problem with throwing around the term golden age all loosey goosey. So I have a fundamental opposition to this topic that I will now go into this rant that I wrote up that's a long one. Hopefully you stick with me. Hopefully if you have anything, jump in wherever you feel like. But I don't see what the problem is with modern anime. I love modern anime. You know, I know in that clip you shared, the dude was saying that modern anime isn't as unique or as engaging, but I feel that modern anime has been good for the genre and the world in general. You know, I think there was some crazy stat that like over half of all anime came out since like 2010. So I know they say quality over quantity, but I believe this boon has been great for anime enthusiasts and casuals who enjoy a good story. Now, with this boost in anime saturation, it's made anime a global phenomenon. It's popular with almost everybody. You see celebrities talking about it. You see, was it Megan Thee Stallion? You see all of these people talking about anime. So it's popular now. And I think that's good because popularity means more and more stories get to be made and more shows get greenlit. Now, a story may be amazing, but it gets a shitty studio. And, you know, it just doesn't hit. That's just the luck of the draw.
That's right.
But I still say modern anime is fantastic. And also, I'd argue that we're living in the golden age of anime right now. Because, I mean, we're eating good with recent masterpieces like Mob Psycho 100, Pluto, Frieren, Delicious in Dungeon, Apothecary Diaries, Vinland Saga. And then you have the popular hits like Dandadan, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen, among others. Like, the best show I'm currently watching is like a gag show, but it has such beautiful animation, shot composition, story elements, and human feelings that I just am awestruck by it. That show is City of the Animation. It's made by the same guy who made Nichijou. That's not even the best show I've watched this year. Taco Piece Original Sin. If you haven't watched that show, go watch it. But anyway, there are so many stories.
Yeah.
Hey. A good story is a good story. Like, it doesn't matter where you are mentally. Come on. But there are so many stories that sure, maybe gets watered down with similar genres and story setup. But what's great to me is that they have a wholly unique element that changes the story for the better. So, I mean, like, who says I don't want to see fools killing demons over and over again? There's a reason Bleach was popular, and when you can expand on that and have something crazy original to add to that, then you're just swimming in gravy. Now, I'll say one recent genre I really like is the once thought to be useless middle-aged man is really OP after honing his craft. You got shows like Kaiju Number 8, From Country Bumpkin to Sword Master, and Oji-san Newbie Adventurer. Those are shows that resonate with me in my old age. I'm 30, I'm old as hell, and those shows, they get me, man.
100%.
But anyway, to put simply, most anime is great, and the stuff we're getting today means we're eating good for a long while. We are currently in the golden age of anime. No disrespect to Naruto, Bleach, no disrespect to Yu Yu Hakusho, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I mean, those are goated shows, but today I'm eating good all the time.
I have so much to say. I'm gonna let Robert talk first. I'm just gonna Stephen A. Smith this the whole time.
Look, I am like similarly minded as Alonzo. Like, there are quite a few. Like, I can go on my top 10 right now. Most of them made after 2010. So I'm like, that already shows me something about, like, yeah, this new age relatively is a pretty good new age. But I would say, in terms of like like, okay, if the point is like they're pushing out the best of the best, right? Like and maybe we're not sure, maybe we don't have all the anime that is available in Japan, right? We get the curated ones in the golden age, but I'm just saying, they're fire hosing so many shows that there's no way you can say that, like, this is the best of anime. I'm like, all right, yeah.
There is a 2-season show about a person who became a vending machine. We're not saying this is goated. I refuse to accept this player as goated. 2 seasons. Do you know how many shows from the 2000s are vastly better than that haven't got touched for 2 seasons?
One?
I'm sorry, I interjected.
Have you watched it? One, have you watched it? Because one, it's not that bad. It's surprisingly not that bad.
The fact you have to say not that bad.
But
negative, double negative. Okay.
But I'm like, they have been shooting so much garbage at us, and every time we find the one thing, like the one diamond, that they're like, oh wait, there is one good show. Like, how many times do we got to do that to be like, yeah, I mean, this is probably like a trash time to be watching anime when every other thing you watch, well, no, 90% of the things you watch is mid or under mid. And then there's a few things we watch that are like goated. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be how it is. And when we were kids, it felt like all we were watching was goated shit. Why is that? Everything I remember watching as a kid, Naruto, Bleach, fucking DBZ, fucking Case Closed, all goated. And that's all I watched when I was young. And I'm like, well, I mean, we got some points on both sides. That's all I'm saying.
And I understand what Alonzo is saying when he comes, like, there was less coming in, so they had to be more streamlined. It was like, we weren't letting everything come through to America. But mind you, we still got School Days dubbed. School Days dubbed, which is...
It's art.
Also, Ghost Stories.
Oh yeah,
which is single-handedly the most hilarious dub, and it was not meant to be a comedy. And it's single-handedly the most hilarious anime. One of the most. If you haven't watched that dub, we will do a watch along on that ish. It is hilarious, dude. Anyway, we're not gonna get into it. It's very much worth doing a watch along. Anyway. I'm just gonna say that it was surely more streamlined. I will definitely not say that there was surely more, criteria that had to be met for them to let those things go through. There was a lot less getting through, so of course they were very much more selective in what they were letting through to America for sure. Aaron, I'm positive that's a very good point, and I had not thought about that to this moment. But then there are a couple of things that either slipped through, or they weren't as critiqued, as we thought they were, or they just, I don't know what the top prices are of those couple and a couple other ones that I'm not going to mention. I mean, there's a legendary one that starts with a Boku that it is also let on in, so I'm just saying, there's quite a bit of, they're just so not good that I would say bad, but they're so not good that they don't warrant being brought up 20 years later. So there are still very bad ones that were through. I watched them. I did watch them because there's a lot less to watch, to your point. So I watched even the bad ones. Whereas here you don't really have that choice. Like, I have so many anime I have to watch still that I'm spoiled for choice. I'm like, well, what should I actually try and catch up on today? And I have to catch up. It was definitely the opposite problem back then, where you're trying to keep up to an extent because they're only playing on like 2.9. But even when we finally got like websites and stuff, for the most part, it was still only a few things that we're really trying to. So there is definitely more that is available that is still worth watching. But that's almost like saying, because the average player is a better player, that the goated players are now not as goated. No. They're still the GOATs. MJ's still the GOAT. It doesn't matter that the average player is now better than they used to be. MJ's still the GOAT. Elijah One's still balling. We can't just say, Wilt still Wilt. He still dropped 100 on these dudes. Like, yes, the average player is maybe closer to them than they used to be, but that doesn't make them not the GOATs. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, I get your point, and I see your point, and I think it is a matter of preference. I think it's a matter of preference. And I do agree that there is certain stuff, like, but I will say, and if I get in my main thing, I will say, and I will let Robert finish too, because I feel like I cut him off, but the middle-aged thing too, I feel like there was a lot more middle-aged stuff and like adult age anime back then than there is now. Because back then we had,
talk about this.
I mean, Casher and this is someone you may not remember. Casher and Sins, Trigun, talk about. I mean, I guess Ichigo's like, he had to be like a senior. anyway, so we'll kind of discard Bleach, but those sorts of anime were like more common. Ghost in Shell, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I mean, Tenchi Muyo, or Tenchi, I guess, was young, wasn't he? But it was a very adult show. But he was young, I guess. I think I don't remember. But like there was more. I feel like there was a lot adult anime that were still very high quality, and I feel like that part is coming back, which is a good thing. But I think that was there in the '90s, and it kind of got lost. And which is kind of weird to think about it, because like you'd think they'd be trending up with the people that were watching. I digress, which I think that's maybe what they're trying to do now. But anyway,
a lot of the Gundam shows too were like that, right? Like back in the day, because I remember watching them. I'm like, oh, this seems like I should be watching this. Like this is nothing but war and death, like every episode.
And they'd have a kid in Gundam, but they'd still have mostly adults and like one kid orphan or something.
I was gonna say that like one of the things that and this is what I actually think it was. I don't think that they were like yeah, they're more adult shows, but I think they just didn't care about the kids. Like back in the 90s when we didn't have regulations so you could smack your children, they didn't care that your kids were also watching this garbage, like this stuff that was like, I would say garbage, like this goated stuff that was like really not for child kids. Consumption. Yeah. I'm like, one of the things I named was Case Closed. There was somebody died every episode. Like, murdered violently every episode. Yeah. And I remember watching this shit like, oh shit.
Another one bites the dust.
Then stayed up all night until the sun come out because I couldn't go to sleep that night. Yeah. Right. But like, yeah. And the other thing, and then on the other end, the thing that I know about new anime is that, like you said, so some of the back in the day, some of the like the goated anime series, like especially the movies, were the ones that like really showed dramatic landscapes and all these like really artistic scenes. And now we're getting that in like episodes of shows, which is crazy to me to think that like we're getting a whole movie's worth of like animation in like these, like 20-minute, or sometimes, they go a little long, the first episode. So I'm like, that is to say, like, animation wise, it's definitely going up there. But we're also watching at, like 120p back in the day too. So, so we had the technology. Who knows what we'd have seen? But, anyways, I'm still playing both sides here, man. Like I love new anime, and I loved my childhood too.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair, like if I look at my list of I think it's probably like split almost for before 2000s, and then anything after that. I think it's probably about split. So I mean, in fairness. But I think that the things that are higher on the list are from like 2009 and 90. Like, those are the things that are higher on the list. That's where mine comes in, and I think my big thing was, so I'll say this: despite what I say about that list, I'm gonna name some anime that are in that era, right? And we're gonna let's just be honest here: Cowboy Bebop, Code Geass, Death Note, Gundam Wing, Yu Yu Hakusho, Trigun, Samurai Champloo, Season 1 Naruto, Evangelion, Sailor Moon. You can't name a better 10 anime than that from any other era. Definitely not from the last 10 to 15 years. I don't care. There is not a 10 better anime than that. And if someone says there is, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to me. Stop lying. It is not the truth. There is not a better 10 anime. I'm sorry. And that's what makes the golden era, because that top 10 is pristine. And if I go down to the next 10 is still pristine. That's the thing. Like, depending on what you're looking for, there is literally something goated in every genre in that era. Every genre. And like me and Robert talked about in other things, like we had all of us had talked about in a previous episode, there is something that happened back then where they touched on so many different genres in one anime too, which has been lost. That has not come back. That has not really come back still to this day. They have kind of brought back the middle-aged people, but which is nice, which I appreciate a lot, tremendously, honestly. But that like willingness to touch on a little bit of every part of life in an anime rather than keep it so narrow, because you don't want the storyline to be skewed this way or that way, but to somehow find that cohesion and hit a little bit of everything, hit a little comedy, hit a little romance, hit action, hit adventure, hit pure just poetry at times. And like episodes are just like, hey, they just chilling and looking at, and we having random views for the whole episode, chilling and views, and you just vibing with the characters for an episode. Like, and you in the episode, you're like, dang, I feel like we just chilled. Like, yeah, I'm feeling good. Like that stuff is what made it go. They did things that were difficult and they made it look easy. And I understanding now as an adult, that's very difficult to now try to squeeze in multiple genres and to make the storyline still cool and to not break off from it too far, but to still keep it interesting and still keep it flowing in the right direction, but still have these kind of detours. That's hard. And a lot of shows can't do it. Don't do it. But they so many that did it really seamlessly back then. And then my other thing is that the uniqueness, and I think they're, again, to your point, recently I think they're becoming more unique again, but it's still not back there to that level for me. So because the uniqueness of those shows back then were so like gritty and different, and just like it's like every show was something different. There was a lot of mecha stuff still, but I mean, like Ghost in the Shell was been like Ghost in the Shell since then. Ghost in the Shell is like a pretty dark sci-fi horror weird. Like, I mean, it was so many things that like I don't even know how to describe that show and like really like anything. Like talk about like another mecha anime. Big O was the weirdest mecha anime. Like Big O was the weirdest mecha anime of a dude that seems like Bruce Wayne, and he's like piloting this enormous mecha through his version of Gotham essentially. And and we talked about the animation style, and it's just like it hits you in a way that's just artistically creative and nostalgic, but also refreshing and refined at the same time. It's a different style than what we get now. We do get some styles now that I think are just aesthetically beautiful, and I think we'll look back at them as classics. I think some of these will look back at them as classics from their era, just for the aesthetics. And I think similarly that will always be the case for some of these 90s era anime. You can't recreate that because it simply wasn't part of the era. But I mean, some of the stuff, man, because there's so little CGI, there's so little like computer work. So much of this is just hand, man. Like just hand and mind, details and creativity going directly onto the paper and directly onto the screen, and it's incredible to think about, like just Gundam and all the details that go into that. Even just the scenes of like the sword coming out of the leg and just shooting out and they just snatch it. Come on, bro. Like think about how many frames and how much like that by itself takes, and that like love of the game look is what it kind of feels like you get in those anime. Like they just loved it. And I think people and they still love it. Of course they do. Like I'm not going to doubt the love of the creators now, but I think it's still so much more business driven than it was back then, where it felt more like a creative passion for more of the artists than it was then, and more of the businesses. Like I said, like there's just so much unique stuff. I mean, Slam Dunk, Golden. Have y'all watched Golden Boy? Like Golden Boy is one of the. It's super silly, but it's one of the best like romance comedy animes. The dude is still like they somehow add depth to his character that you would never expect in this perverted like older I guess what he's like college student age dude. And again, college student age dude, like some dude we can more relate to now. And somehow this dude is just like super, has some sort of depth to his character that you wouldn't expect. And obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and stuff like that. But in even Ghost Stories, like who's gonna go out their way and put out something like Ghost Stories now? That is, objectively just silly. Like, and it's originally not meant to be that, right? It's not meant to be silly, but to be willing to just be like, all right, we're gonna go into this dub, or we're gonna go into this, this anime, and like, even though it wasn't supposed to be this, and maybe it's not what it was supposed to be on this level of greatness, of artistic beauty, and all this sort of stuff, we're gonna have fun with it, and we're gonna just make it into its own thing. Like Ghost Stories now, it carved a sector, a cult following for itself off of just being willing to just be weird and different. which I think Don is doing the same thing in a sense, but definitely not as silly as Ghost Stories, because Ghost Stories is really silly. But yeah, in a similar way to that. And I think there's certain stuff like Ghost Stories and these other shows that they walked so that they could run for these current shows now, and which is like with everything. And that's why I'm like, it's hard for me to be like, okay, it's not the golden age, because if this age didn't happen, then this anime boom never happens, right? So tsunami never happens with this current flow of anime in America. It doesn't exist, So that's why I'm just like, it still has to be the golden era. It has to be the golden era because it is what allowed for this era to currently happen. And I still think like I said, the uniqueness and the artistry, the detail they put into so much of it is it just resonates with you still. And Cowboy Bebop, this is just something I just thought about, and I'm rambling, but this is the last thing. Like the life lessons that they put in almost every anime. There's some that still do. Like I'll say Vinland Saga, 100%. Life lessons all through that show, very good ones. But it was nearly every anime. You're taking lessons that you be like, okay, I need to get my ish together. Like, or I need to change my perspective on certain things. Like Cowboy Bebop, every episode almost is, for one, interesting, developed characters, like action, a little comedy, sometimes a little romance, and then like this dark mystery about the storyline and the characters, especially Spike. And then, I mean, the first episode is even a life lesson of like, or even just something that tug at your mind to make you think about what is life about, what is life about, and how can you, certain situations, avoid being the bad guy when you have to do something that you feel is necessary for the people you love yourself. Because that guy in that first episode, I spoiled it, he had to do some things that he probably didn't seem like were in his character, but he had no choice. And so it makes you almost empathize with characters that you wouldn't normally have empathy for. And so I just think like that was happening so much where the people just were so complex and different, even just like random one-off characters, they made them super complex and different and interesting. That just doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't seem like there's the attention to detail and care as much. I'm not saying they don't care, but it's like more about, okay, who can we capitalize on merchandise wise? Who can we capitalize on? Who can we put out this character that's gonna bunch of play? Like, yeah, that's it. Come on, but yeah, that's all. I'm done.
I got 2 points. First point, I agree with you with the business driven aspect of it. Like I would see a lot of shonen manga on like the Viz app. Like there's new stories every so often, and then they get canceled like after 8 chapters. It was like, well, there's another unique story that's gone. It's never going to get seen. Nobody's going to hear about it or anything. So I get that business driven, like
gangsta, please. Please.
Yeah. Like gear.
But yeah, there was like a recent years where they would like do all this villainous stuff. Like every show had to have villainous in their title. Every story had to do something about a villainous doing something. I get there's a business driven aspect where when something's popular, you gotta attack it. So I get that part of it. So, but also my second point is like, one thing, I don't remember my childhood. Second thing, some of these shows I didn't watch until college, which it was in the 2010s. So they were competing with me with the modern anime. So, like I didn't watch. Well, I watched Naruto sort of live on YouTube in middle school. That was good for me. But Bleach, I didn't watch until actually 2020s or something. Let's see. I never watched One Piece. I've never watched Cowboy Bebop. I've watched Yu Yu Hakusho. That was in the 2010s, competing with modern anime. So for me, it's just like I don't have that sort of uh, perspective of growing up with those shows. This perspective to know, all right, this is something great. This is something I need to cherish in the moment at that time. So I don't really have that experience. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to go with modern anime, because this is something I know. This is something. What have you done for me lately? Well, modern anime has fed me good lately. So that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about like the comparison between like the flow like old school flow, man. Like it was different, but it was to burn. It was like to slow burn it, and it really capitalized on things. Like I don't know when Baccano came out, but that was I think that was like similar time, right? But anyways,
2009 or something. I think.
yeah, and I'm like that one is a similar one. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell you shit. I'm not gonna tell you anything, and I'm just gonna let it burn itself, you know. And that's good, but there's times where, like, especially when we were kids and we were watching the show, and that is not. I know you guys, DBZ. There's plenty of Naruto fights as well. There's plenty of Bleach fights as well. Like. All of them did the same thing where they're like, all right, we're going to drag this shit out for how many episodes? We're going to bring them back to life so they can keep fighting and still in the same way. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like sometimes we do not need to like drag things out. And with new age anime, I feel like they do that a bit less, like significantly. Like, I will watch a show and I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, roll it. All right, we're done.
You don't think that's sometimes to a deficit though?
Yeah, I mean,
like sometimes you're saying like it's over. What happened? Nothing happened.
Yeah, it's like the final collapse fight, and it literally like is the last 3 minutes of the anime. It's like, all right, here we go. Here's my rolling. Superpower. Boom. Done. We win. Like, oh yeah. Like I think sometimes it's not great, but I also think that like there is a perfect amount of speed for an anime, and it is not an endless 8. Okay,
it's not OG Dragon Ball Z. It's not OG Dragon Ball Z. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
No one is gonna argue that. Sure.
But like, I don't know. There was also like, but I keep playing both sides. But I'm like, there's a lot that I enjoyed about the classics, and there's also a lot that I enjoy about the new age anime. And I was looking through my top, and yeah, I mean it's hard to find. There's a couple. There Gurren's in there, Gios is in there. I'm like, those are great shows. They were made, you know, near the end of the what I think you would define as the golden age, but I think they were both like 2009. But yeah, I mean, those are great, but I have so many more that are after those times, man. And I'm like, but I think it's, but again, like Full Metal's in there too. But again, Full Metal came out to like 2009. Brotherhood.
No.
Brotherhood. The good one.
Brotherhood. Okay, hold on. Okay, I want to work on this right now.
No,
we're not gonna say
we're
not gonna say Brotherhood is the only good Full Metal. Original Full Metal is fire. We just didn't like the ending.
It's just the
That's
ending.
it.
You're correct.
That's it.
You're correct.
Original Full Metal is freaking fire. Get the freak out of here. Like, look, people want to crap on it. If that was still the only one and Brotherhood never happened, Full Metal would still be a top 25 at least anime for everybody. No, and if you say
That's
it's
true.
not,
That's true.
you are.
You know, the other thing, I love telling people to watch the original because it hits so much harder when you watch Brotherhood at the end, or like even during the whole thing, you're like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be. Like, I mean, both really good, but Brotherhood, that's goated.
That's fine. It is.
But yeah,
I
mean, I didn't really have anything more to say there. I'm just like, I love both, man. But again, it's the fire hose though. We're getting so many that we're getting a lot of diamonds too, and I think that's good. You know, I'm getting a lot on my list, and I'm like, yeah, I love that shit. I love that shit. But I'm getting a lot on my list too that are like, that's trash. Magical Girl Senpai. I mean, why are you making this? Why are you making this? Or Magician Senpai or whatever it's called. like okay, she's trying to learn how to be a magician. Now
that's just titties too.
Yes, exactly.
That's the whole anime, just titties. That's it. Like, there's no other point of the anime.
What was it? Were you talking plus size elf girl something? I can't remember.
Just BBW fetish. Just fetish. Just it. There's nothing else.
Yes, I'm clicking that, but why are they making that?
Oh my god.
This is a diverse world. People have diverse interests, fetishes. Who are we to judge? Come on.
Hey, I ain't judging.
True.
I'm just saying.
No king shame.
Do we have to put we don't have to put everything in anime form. That's all I'm saying. Not everything has to be put in anime form. You know, like
reincarnated in another world as a fucking an ashtray. I mean, what?
It would be the most hard hitting like cop drama of all time. Come on.
Let's ride. It turns human when enough ashes fill his tray or something.
So you're actually giving them ideas. This is actually
watch that bullcrap drop. Watch the bullcrap drop.
Coming out
reincarnated as
next season.
It's like, dude, you're gonna swirly. How did I come out as this? Thanks, man. I always said I was a piece. All right, so yeah, but yeah. I'm just saying. I still maintain. I think there's. I watched, but I started anime sooner than both of you guys. So like I think Alonzo is making a point that it's very true. My perspective is different. I started anime so much sooner than both of you. I watched so many before you guys. Like before any of these newer ones had even come out. That like I think I've seen a lot more good ones. Most of you probably have from that age. Like there's some that people like most people. I don't think either of y'all watch Trigun.
I started like a couple episodes. Again, it's the pacing for me, man. Like I don't have
that long. It's only like 47 episodes. I digress.
I don't have
that Gen Z.
Yeah. Anime fucked me up, man. I'm like, I mean, during college time, I was watching like a series a day kind of thing. Like it was pretty bad. At least one series a day. So it's like,
I mean, but even there, I mean, like we talk about like Air Gear. Like there's one called Black Cat. Is one of my favorite animes of all time. People have never heard it. It's but like it's my favorite anime of all time. I've watched it like times. So good. It's only 12 episodes, 12, 13, and it's fantastic. No one knows about it. Like there's so many sleepers in the 90s that don't like haven't seen, haven't and now because the animation changed, stuff like that. But like I don't know, like to me as a person that's into anime, like I want to give everything a chance. I've given a lot of bad anime a chance. Like honestly, but I do think that people should probably try and reevaluate and trying to look into some things that aren't even like mainstream. I mean, obviously there's a bunch of good mainstream stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho. I think if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, you gotta watch Cowboy Bebop. I think you would love Cowboy Bebop. I think you would love it. I think it's really.
I need to watch Bebop. Actually, I don't know what happened. I feel like I started it and something happened.
It's I mean, it's a potentially life-changing anime. Like stuff that you learned in the show. So, and I'm even rewatching it. I never watched it sequentially because it's broken up. As a kid.
Oh yeah.
I'm watching it sequentially now, and it's even better. So yeah. I mean, I think some of this stuff is like recency bias and also just I mean, everyone has their preferences. But one thing I'll say is I'm very glad anime is still thriving, like Alonzo said. And that's the main thing because at least the amount we're getting out gives a chance, like Alonzo was saying, for some of these stories that would be dropped and would be buried in the annals of time now get a chance to come to light and to get brought out, or at least to get enough attention to anime that it can keep chapters enough for me personally. If a good story can at least get manga finished, so we can at least get some sort of ending. So I think that for me is the best part about it. But doesn't change the golden age for me, but doesn't make this a bad age. I think we'll look back on this age as a like a boomer. It's super important, like age where it shot up and allowed hopefully sustainability. I don't think it's going to shoot up again any further. I think it's going to kind of post it there, a level of popularity for probably the rest of our life, and maybe go down a little bit. But I think it's going to. So I'm very happy to see But yeah, I ranted a lot, and I think I've been a bit extra.
The magic word has been said. It's your favorite time of day. Extra time, everybody. Get hyped. College football is back. This weekend was the first week where all schools were playing a game. There were marquee matchups that included the University of Texas with quarterback Arch Manning, who is the grandson of Archie, son of Cooper, and nephew of NFL legends Eli and Peyton Manning, versus the Ohio State University, the reigning champs. Also, we had Notre Dame championship runner-ups versus the reignited the University of Miami. Also, shout out to our alma mater, Norfolk State University. They played their first game of the Michael Vick era on Thursday in a primetime nationally televised game. They lost, but ESPN put the national focus on the school, and hopefully the coaches and the young men on the team can work together to build something special. Now, with the NFL, next weekend is when the NFL is back in action with all 32 teams. The season kicks off on this Thursday, with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys, who, by the way, made a shocking and painstakingly stupid franchise-altering trade when they traded their best player, hands down, Micah Parsons, to the Green Bay Packers for pennies on the dollars. What are you doing? Jerry, look at me. What are you doing? Anyway, that game was followed by a special game on Friday where the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil in the first ever game broadcast on a YouTube platform for free. So should be an exciting season, and as always, it's any given Sunday in the league, so who knows who'll come out on top come the end of the season. Now, finishing off in tennis news, Maria Sharapova was officially inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame after a noteworthy career where she won 5 Grand Slam titles during the heights of the Williams sisters' reign. Most notably, she forged a fierce rivalry with Serena Williams, but it came as a bit of a shock when Serena delivered the Hall of Fame introduction to Sharapova during the ceremony. However, it appears the once hated foes have forged an unlikely friendship in retirement. So good for them, and congratulations to Ms. Sharapova on making it to the Hall of Fame. In other tennis news, the U.S. Open is currently happening, but in one match, opponents Taylor Townsend and Jelena Ostapenko got into a tense back and forth after the match. Of note was that Townsend, the winner of the match and who is black, spoke to a reporter after the match, with Ostapenko, who is white and Latvian, relayed the words said to her by Ostapenko. Townsend told a reporter that Ostapenko told her, she said, like, I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside of the U.S. Now, I know losing is never a good feeling, and after an intense match, you're feeling the heights of adrenaline and frustration, but to say something like this is inexcusable. Like, what does her class or education have to do with tennis? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's inexcusable, but in this case, I believe it's just a blatant dog whistle insult to a black competitor. She also mentioned to see what happens when they get outside the U.S., which many have agreed she meant the U.S. Open specifically. But Townsend relayed that she's beaten Ostapenko in other tennis matches outside of this tournament. So I just want to say, Ostapenko, you go jump in the ditch with your racist ass. So anyway, there's no excuses for her behavior. You know, she lost. Get over it. With that said, I just want to get your thoughts on the situation and if you believe that anti-white bias is growing around the world.
Oh my God.
This is not a political podcast. So.
This is about tennis. Come on, it's not political at all.
All I'm gonna say is about that first part is, why are people such sort? Because this happened with that girl, with that other tennis player recently. I think it was last year when she played, I think, Coco Golf. And yeah, I just blah blah. Yeah, said all this stuff, basically trying to discredit Coco. But you lost. I mean, at the end of the day, you lost. And so, is it a coincidence they're both white? I mean, I don't know. I think, athletes of, all colors, depending on the person, how they're trained, how they're raised, their upbringing, they tend to obviously be competitive. but then some have this lack of accountability, and I think that's what limits them from. I mean, it's a shame because, like, to me, it's dumb because guess what? You get to go home, sleep on like 1 billion thread count sheets, and you've still made millions of dollars. Just take your L. Everyone else in their lives takes L's on the daily, and we don't get to go home and have millions. So just be glad that you get the opportunity to play a professional sport, which I'm sorry, it's not that hard compared to what most people have to do to survive, including in the country some of these people are from, to survive, let alone thrive, to just survive. You're just playing a sport, and you're not even, it's not something you have to do for like that long, in context of life, max 20 years. That's for your life in any sport. You get a max like maybe baseball, you get a little longer, ever, some of them. But dude, you're lucky as a freak to not have gotten a bad injury on the way up, to not have someone been super spiteful to you and maybe trying to injure you on the way up. Or anything like that. Like, there's any number of things that could have happened to you. You could have gotten a car accident, anything that could have ruined your career before that, or some story was out about you. Anything. And you're lucky to be in that position. Just be grateful that you're in the position. If you lose, guess what? You get a really nice consolation prize of still being a professional athlete, which is a dream for thousands, millions of people. And all those people look up to you, so act better. Because you got people that you're setting the example. Now people are going to take that out on their perceptions of your country, you're from. And that's, unfortunately, whether they like it or not, once you make it big, that is the price of fame. You now represent a population of people. So you gotta act like it. And obviously, we're in a situation right now where the people representing us at certain levels are not representing us well. We know what that looks like, and it's not a good feeling. So hopefully she'll reflect on that and she'll say, okay, I think that, I know the girl, that did come back and apologize. Hopefully this girl will come back and apologize. But it's been a couple of days already and she hasn't, so it's not a good. But
yeah, I think they're just like I don't know. It's like feels like like in so many sports, people are able to like really have this like split where they like, I'm playing the game, I'm competitive, I'm in the moment, but then as soon as I get off, I can know my composure. I can, like there's people like right after a game, like like football when they do like the reporting and they're like, you just lost this game, tell me how you feel, and he's like, and they're super respectful, right? They're like, yeah, we played a hard game, we tried, but the other team, they get it. We can't win everyone. Let's move on. Like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how much that they are able to immediately split. For when like you can see them actively fighting on the field sometimes. Right, you know what I mean? Like they literally like, yo, you ain't better than me, all this stuff. But then as soon as they get in front of somebody, they know how to split. And like there's I'm just saying that is an ideal athlete. In my eyes, like you have to be able to learn this skill to not be an idiot when somebody hands your microphone. Like it's and it's not hard. So I don't know, like that is annoying, and yeah, I mean she should definitely get backlash from that. But in terms of the rest of the United States or the rest of the world, even like yeah. Just like we started this podcast, things are changing for the not so great. But I mean, I'm planning a trip out of here.
That man ain't coming back. That man gonna be like,
the fuck out of here.
This man gonna be like, next thing I see, this man like, yeah. So I moved all my stuff.
Actually, she loves me. Everyone loves me here. I mean, I'm chilling.
Yeah, they offered me a house and I took it. So, yeah,
I'm done.
We'll see how the connection is over here. Like legit. I mean, honestly, that's the traveling kick. The reason for my traveling kick, that's but yeah, I mean, Zabalenka. That was tough. off back then. But yeah, she did apologize. That's credit to her. And that's what you should do. I mean, again, you're setting the example. At least apologize if you say something stupid. Not that hard. Like, but yeah, like you said, you're an athlete, you're a professional. Like, we can get heated at our jobs, but again, like everyone else has to know, you can be like, send that email. You can't type the actual thing you want to say. You got to be professional in the email, right? Like, it's the same thing, right? Like, everyone else has to do it. You especially have to do it, because if I was given multiple millions and all I had to do was not act like an idiot, I could do it. Just saying.
Put me in front of a camera. Hey, yo, fuck number 32. His team's a bitch. Man, fuck his wife, too.
And there's Alonzo's contract. No. But yeah, I mean, he definitely was definition of extra right there. It's like, it's too much going on that worked up over again on your own. There's no one else to blame in tennis. It is an individual sport. It's just you. But yeah, I mean, speaking of, even though tennis is an individual sport, it's a team sport. We're all about each other and you guys. We're trying to do better. But people will be on trips and we will be not up here. But we're going to try to work on some clips and stuff. If, what's related is certain companies making their previous video editor much more difficult to export and use than it used to be.
All about.
I'm good.
A Chinese company, they got shooters everywhere. Come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we're working on it. We got them. We got the clip. We got the timestamp. We just got good stuff too. Really good stuff. And the interviews. We're getting those out. Those are so great, by the way. Thank you for everybody. Everybody that came to the interview, watching this. I really appreciate you. That was so much fun. Oh my God. You're the best part of the con, especially the ones, not really all of them. All of them, but the ones at night were just like kind of magical. Shout out to you guys. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. You guys too. We'll try to be back soon. We'll do our best. Life be life. Y'all stay safe out here. Till then, out.